If you're someone who's been struggling with self-comparison, you're constantly beating yourself up, or you never feel like what you're doing is good enough, please listen to this video. We've all heard the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. And in this day and age, with everyone showcasing their highlight reel and their accolades across social media and platforms like YouTube, it's hard not to compare yourself to what other people are doing. Don't get me wrong, you can become inspired by the accolades and achievements of other people. However, you've always got to have that ability to contextualize it to your life and understand what your capacity is for growth or improvement, and understand that you're not always seeing everything beneath the tip of the iceberg. Remember, a lot of the time on social media, we're only seeing the highlight reel and the end product. So in what seems to be this highly competitive landscape, in this era that we're living through, how can we navigate this without deteriorating from our own mental well-being whilst improving our own performance in different realms of our life? I like to look at it this way. There's one key lesson that stood out to me from university. In my first year of exercise and sports science, one of the subjects that we had was based in sports psychology. And over a few weeks, we looked into this study that they did on Australian swimmers and the mindset they use to approach competition. We can split these participants up into 4 categories. We had performance approach, performance avoidance, mastery approach, and mastery avoidance. When we look at performance approach, we're looking at the individual who wants to compete and outdo everyone that they're racing in the context of swimming. When we look at performance avoidance, we're looking at the individual who just didn't want to come dead last. When it comes to mastery approach, this is an individual who is just focused on doing their best. This means beating their previous personal best. However, their aim isn't just to beat the competition. And then we look at mastery avoidance, which was the participant who just didn't want to do their very worst. Now, without diving into the nitty-gritty of the study, the main thing that they were looking at from these participants is how they actually performed in competition and what effects it had on their mental well-being. Now, the key finding from this was the performance approach group actually competed well in competition. However, they didn't fare so well when it came to their own mental well-being. Whereas the mastery approach group actually still did very well in competition, on par with the performance approach group. However, their mental well-being was much better. So what does this mean for you and I? When it comes to our physical appearance, how much weight we're lifting in the gym, how fast we're running, or how far we're running, we shouldn't be aiming on beating the competition. We should just be aiming for doing our personal best. We shouldn't be having this performance approach where we're just trying to outdo everyone else. There's very few and far in between who are actually going to wind up being the best at something. And quite frankly, that's probably not the person that I'm talking to. Personally, I don't aim to be the best lifter, runner, YouTuber, or coach, but I do want to do my best at these things. And wherever that stacks me up against the competition, that's cool too. However, I've wasted so much time in my life comparing myself to others and how they're doing. And at the end of the day, it just makes you feel shit about yourself. And if that strikes a chord with you, fair enough, you can keep having this approach where you're trying to outdo everyone else. But why not just shift it slightly and start focusing on doing your best all the time, giving your best effort? It seems so simple, but a lot of us don't actually do it. And it's because we start to stack our self-worth based on what other people are doing and achieving. But the laughable paradox to all of this is the fact that once you actually shift the focus to just bettering yourself, mastering yourself, and always focusing on beating what your best could be in whatever facet of your life that it could be, in your health, fitness, career, relationships, maybe you're into the arts, whatever. Across the board, you are going to be doing better than a lot of other people. But that's not the thing that matters. What matters is that you start to see the improvements that you're striving for. You start to work towards your definition of success. And you stop comparing yourself to other people so you can actually start to be mentally healthier and fitter. You can start to be happy. And you stop feeling like your best efforts are never good enough. You stop comparing the way you look to someone else. You stop comparing your income to someone else's. This was an important video for me to put up today because I've had conversations recently where I see people lying through their teeth about how they're doing in life because they're worried about how other people are doing. I hate to see it coming from people I care about because they're worried about what other people think of them. And they think that their own worth comes from their job, how fast they're running, or how much money they're making. In fact, over the past couple of weeks, I've called myself out for things in front of people a couple of times because I think that should be a normal thing. We need to stop striving towards this perfect image. Stop thinking that you need to do all the things and excel in everything that you do just to be worth something in your life. Remember, just to focus on giving your best effort. Just start showing up as the better version of yourself. Start to approach life with that mastery mentality, doing your very best. In the comments below, let me know which mentality you feel like that you've fallen into the past, and if you've got any further comments or experiences on this topic. As always, I appreciate any support and suggestions that you guys offer on this channel.